First of all, we unequivocally condemn any act of terrorism committed for any cause, but in particular in the name of Islam, anywhere in the world. That's unequivocal condemnation of terrorism. In particular, in the past few days, in the past couple of weeks, you've seen Tunisia, France, and other places, Kuwait. This is not the true face of Islam. You heard the hadith about the black flags. There are two ahadith about black flags. It's that hadith based on which these people, and I want to say one thing before I move on as well. I want to commend, if those reports are true, you've probably seen the newspaper reports and so on Facebook regarding the decision that Egypt has taken, and there were reports about Tunisia as well, right? About naming in particular the Salafist and Wahhabi organizations. Yes, when we say Khawarij, we're shying away a little from who the actual origins of this actually is. And I want to, if this is true, I want to commend those governments for actually taking a step in highlighting where these attitudes are actually coming from. Not from mainstream Islam. Not in our name, not from the Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. And I think this is a stance that all Muslim governments, all Muslim organizations, national and international, need to take very firmly in order to highlight where these attitudes are coming from. Remember, the hadith talks about those black flags from Khurasan and so on, people joining them, amongst them being the Khalifa, who? Muhammad bin Abdullah al-Mahdi. Not, and I stress and I state again, not Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Khalifa Muhammad bin Abdullah al-Mahdi. You've been told everything. And then the other hadith about the black flags. And the same groups who are implicated in this, that age-old argument, it's a weak hadith. It might be a weak hadith, but do you know who Imam Nu'aym bin Hammad actually is? I implore you, this is in Kitab al-Fitan by Imam Nu'aym bin Hammad. Go and read his biography. Find out who he was. He was one of the students of Sayyidina Abdullah bin Mubarak radiyallahu ta'ala. One of the teachers of Imam Bukhari. He died in 228 or 229 Hijri. Roughly 200 years after the passing of the Prophet ﷺ. 1200 years ago. How do you explain that? Is it a coincidence that he narrated this hadith 1200 years ago, which fits word for word and letter for letter on this organization? Yes, you can look at all the clinical evidence and so on, but explain that to me. How do you explain a hadith narrated 1200 years ago? This is the thing that our people don't look at. The study of hadith, it revolves around a lot of things. Try and explain that. What is that hadith? The Prophet ﷺ says in the same, using the same words, the Prophet ﷺ, narrated by Sayyidina Ali al-Murtada radiyallahu ta'ala. He says, إِذَا رَأَيْتُمُ الرَّايَاتِ السُّودِ. When you see the black flags. Why the black flags? Have you ever thought why they've adopted the black flag? Is to try and deceive simple people with that hadith about Imam Mahdi. That's the whole reason behind adopting these black flags. But the Prophet ﷺ warned about these black flags as well. The Prophet ﷺ said, when you see these black flags, فَأَلْزَمُ الْأَرْضِ, stick to the earth. فَلَا تُحَرِّكُوا أَيْدِيكُمْ, don't move your hands. فَلَا تُحَرِّكُوا أَيْدِيَكُمْ وَلَا أَرْجُلَكُمْ, or your feet. Stick to the earth. Don't move your hands or feet. Don't help them in any way. Don't stick to the earth, meaning don't go there. We're hearing about this thing about migration. Migration to what? Anarchy? Massacre and bloodshed? And I'm referring, for those of you who know, to the statement that was issued by the family in Luton who've supposedly gone there. Migration to what? Bloodshed of Muslims? Massacre of innocent people? Is that what you're migrating to? This is no migration. What are you migrating from? Do you not have freedom to practice your religion? And if you are going to migrate, is there nowhere else in the world but this place to migrate to? So the Prophet ﷺ said, first of all, stick to the earth. No migration. And then keep your hands and your feet firmly tied together. Don't support them in any way at all. And the Prophet ﷺ said, ثُمَّ يَظْهَرُ قَوْمًا ضُعَفَاءَ. And then a weak people will emerge. Remember, weakness is of different kinds. You have physical weakness, and then you also have moral and religious weakness. This is the kind of weakness that these people suffer from. Otherwise, how can you massacre people? How can you kill them? How can you burn people alive unless your morals are dead? This is the weakness that it refers to. لا يؤبه لهم. They will have, they will have no say. They will be weak people. قلوبهم كذبر الحديد. Their hearts will be like sheets of iron, of metal. Again, how do you massacre so many people? How do you start rivers of blood flowing? How do you burn people alive if your heart is not a sheet of metal? Hum ashabud dawla. They will be the people of a state. What do they refer to themselves as? لا يفون بعهد ولا ميثاق. They will have no respect for any treaty or any covenant. What do we see from these people? يدعون إلى الحق. They will invite towards the truth. وَلَيْسُوا مِنْ أَهْلِهِ. They are not the people of the truth. Has this not become apparent yet? أَسْمَاؤُهُمُ الْكُنَى. Their names will be kunya, not their birth names. Kunya like Abu Bakr. وَنِسْبَتُهُمُ الْقُرَى. Their associations will be towards towns and cities like Baghdad. وَشُعُورُهُمْ مُرْخَاتٌ كَشُعُورِ النِّسَاءِ. Hair like women. And yes, the Prophet ﷺ did wear his hair long. 3 narrations. You want to see how beautiful the Prophet ﷺ's hair was? Find our lectures from Golden Mosque, my series of lectures on Shamail, and listen to the description of the beautiful hair of the Prophet ﷺ. Not the way you will see these people wearing their hair. And the Prophet ﷺ talks about these people and tells us to stay away from them. Tell me how 1200 years ago this was narrated with such accuracy and with such detail about these people. You can't always just silence the opposition by saying it's a weak hadith. Unfortunately, those days are gone. It is now for us, for every single individual, to work within our capacity to highlight where these thoughts, where this is festering, where it's breeding this ideology, and to work tirelessly to the best of our ability to present the true image of Islam. We're in a very difficult time at the moment. Inna ma'al usri yusran. But after difficulty comes ease. We talk about the coming of Sayyidina Imam Mahdi and Sayyidina Isa ala nabiyina alayhi salatu wasalam. But the Ummah will face great difficulty before they are comforted by Imam Mahdi and Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam. And it is our responsibility within these times. Remember this. This is something that we need to make an effort. Every single one of us needs to become a productive member of the society, of the community that we live in. We need to take a firm oath to strive for the betterment of our community. We need to own the land that we live in as our home. We need to work for the betterment of our home. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq and ability to develop and nurture this true understanding of Islam, and for us to work to show the true image of Islam.